Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. For all those that are visiting the channel this week, Merry Christmas. Almost the end of 2023. I have another interesting video, this time working in a 2006 Land Rover LR3 Instrument Cluster. This was sent to me by Chris Griffith from Accurate Automotive here in Virginia. They're local, so they send these. They have the same gremlins as is very common on these instrument cluster. As you can see, I am now testing it before repairs. Ooh, I get messages on my phone. It's very loud on the headset that I'm using. So yes, it says, Mr. Salazar, thank you for accepting the order to repair the instrument cluster. It is a 2006 Land Rover LR3. The main problems with the instrument cluster are as follow: gauge, speedometer, RPM readings fluctuating rapidly and inaccurately, turn signals activating at random, vehicle intermittently failing to crank a start, hazard lights turn off and on by themselves, door locks activating randomly. These are the main problems. We appreciate you taking the order and look forward for hearing from you on the test and repair of the instrument cluster. Thank you, Chris. As I always do, I do a test before, try to reproduce the concern. Sometimes it's a little time consuming, and try to probably take like 10 minutes, see if I can reproduce it. These are very common to fail, going on and off and on and off. So what I usually do is, like right now I got the communication established, so I can go over to the tachometer. I got the Phoenix Max Pro, the Phoenix Max from top down to use for this. I can increase the position of the tachometer. Right now it's in zero. I'm going to put them into 25% of the gauge, which is, as you can see, moving. And then when I exit, that should go into zero, and it does. We can change the engine temperature as well. So I'm going to do that like around 50%. Let me I'm just increasing those numbers in here. I was in Europe. For those that are follow me in Facebook, they have seen the pictures. It was a beautiful vacation, very well deserved. And I lost my glasses in there, so I'm now using temporary uh, glasses. This is what I use in here for sometimes when you want to see something close and you don't want to use a microscope. But I guess those are the ones that I need to use for now. In the meantime, I get my replacements. But yeah, I have never lost anything ever in my life. This is the first time, and it's no good, especially when it's something you need in daily basis. And I only have a pair. Yeah, we were in a rush, leaving the hotels, and the cab was waiting for us. So I just went and grabbed all the luggage and put them in the cab, and I forgot my glasses on the desk. And the hotel calls me and everything, but it would be probably too expensive to just send a pair of glasses on the mail. It will take forever to reach, and then I mean, just no matter what, those were very old. All right, going back in here, I set it up into 50%. I just click on the start, and that should change the temperature, and it did. So when I exit, since nothing is connected to the cluster except for the scanner, powers and grounds, when I exit here, you will see that that goes up to full temperature. It's because we have no gauge or sensor connected, but the scanner can definitely make it go up and down. We can go the same thing with the fuel gauge. I'm going to go over to 50%. I always try to do this on the video so we can see the position of the gauges matching what is being commanded. As you can see, 50%, and that is on the fuel gauge. And when I click exit, that goes to zero, and it's a minimum or empty, even reserve, right? So let me see if I can do the speedometer, which I know we can, yeah, right here. So let me go over to 50%. I don't know why the tachometer, let me show you this, because in here I can go into 50%, specifically 50%, which is good, because then when I change the needle, 50% should be, if we got 140 or so, we have, the gauge right, the needle right at the middle. So it's very easy for calibration. When I try to do the tachometer, I want you to see the numbers in here. It goes to 12.75%. What that is. So I got no 50% to 38.25. Not sure why. It's 51%. I don't know who programmed that, but that's just the way it is. So yes, when I click in there, it's 51%, so it's a little over the 50%. But we can see, and I usually mark those or take pictures. So when I assemble it back, I make sure that those are in the correct position. But yeah, the cluster is working good. I don't see anything wrong with it so far, but definitely they have the gremlins. So what I usually do is I replace all the capacitors, all the diodes that are part of the power supply. I resolder a lot of resistors. Let me open one of the folders on a previous repair. The one for Herman will be probably the best to show. So this is the front of the gauge. You can see the screen right here. So we have all these resistors. They will need to be resoldered. I resolder the entire board because I don't want to leave anything in exchange to give us a problem or give me a problem later. Let me see if I can get to the one on the back. Yeah, right here. And this is the back of the instrument cluster. These are the main areas that you're going to have to clear or clean the clear, and then resolder the main processor. This is the main problematic area, and then obviously resolder the connector. So those are the areas that I work always, and as being 100% a repair. I am 100% success rate on this one. So if you have any Land Rover's LR3 instrument cluster with problems, I'm your best call. Just give me a ring, and I will contact you, and then um, uh, establish the repair. So this is again capacitors, diodes, and so on that I repair. Let me see if I can zoom in so I don't show his repair, because this is the best way to see the entire rear of that board. I always not just resolder these two. I resolder all the components. I always try to touch it one side with the iron. If they move, I know there are cracked solder joints, and then I just go the complete board. And that's what you get when you send things to me. Again, we got multiple diodes as in these areas right here. These are diodes. We got some more on the top, and some are capacitors, some more are diodes. Remember, you have tantalum capacitors and then hydrolytic capacitor, which is our these are hydrolytics, and some of these are tantalum capacitors. They can be in yellow or black, and sometimes they are diodes. So you need to make sure that what you are doing is correct. I have all the parts, so I know that what I'm doing is correct. And I usually record a video of the test of the instrument cluster after I do the repairs to make sure everything is properly working. And also I request the customers to record a short video, especially after a week or so. Like that is a good I don't know, a way to show that indeed everything is happy working. Herman is already probably 4 months, and not one time his cluster has given any issues. So I know as a fact that everything is working good. It's just not just Herman. I got probably, I don't know, maybe 24 successful repairs. All right, guys, this is again just a test before repairs for Accurate Automotive here in Virginia. I will be posting another one doing a test after the repairs. I will probably show again the pictures of the areas and everything as I usually do, so they can see that that is indeed their cluster. I want also to show these numbers because they are very specific to each instrument cluster. And since I don't have the VIN number, I cannot put the VIN number. I don't think he sent me the VIN number, but that's not a problem. It's the same wire diagram, and I use it in here. I forgot to show you that. It's pretty simple. I have this on the first video if you want to see it. I have mark. Um, Let me actually I gotta get used to use this. I think it's a tool that I can do selection. Let me just see on a comment, highlight, select test, draw free, fill. Forget what tool was it. It's a highlight. Strike through. Give me just 1 second, guys. All right, I found the tool. It's in like where the 8 is like almost adding a text, but I will do a circle around. So what I want to use is just a small circle, like what I put right here, that I can move around so you guys can understand what well, I am showing you, because sometimes these little mouse is very hard to see. So communications are in pins 1 and 2. Again, kind of high is in pin 1, kind of low in pin 2. Then moving down, we have pin 5, which is just a power that I supply for the illumination of the instrument cluster. Going down, we have an ignition on pin 15, and then a constant battery power on pin 16. Disregard the other two. These are just medium speed CON for other things on the instrument cluster we're not using for what I'm doing. And then the grounds on pin 31 and 32. As you can see, pretty easy, pretty simple. And I like to use this box like that. Now you can focus on what I am actually talking and moving. It's a lot easier on the eye for you guys to see. So it's pretty easy to establish communication and work on this cluster as far as establish communication and do the test that I just did for the gauges and everything and like that. You can do your calibration when you're finished working on it. All right, guys, I spoke to Chris. They approved the repairs. They already knew, the way that I always try to approach these instrument cluster repairs, so I don't have to contact the customer for approvals, is that if I find the normal behaviors and the cluster can be repaired with my fee, that I will just proceed, and they say always yes. Obviously, without this, the car will not run, and it's very important to repair it. So I said, if I see something that is going to surpass that approval that I have at first, then I will contact the shop and or the owner and then get the approvals if he wants to proceed or not. Obviously, this case was not with this instrument cluster. Everything is now fully repaired with the same approval cost that I have at first with them. Um, this cluster took probably 15 minutes to react. And remember, it's not the same when you're in a car. You got multiple computers talking to the instrument cluster. I don't have those in here, so that's the reason why it takes a little longer sometimes to react. But yes, I was definitely able to reproduce the concern. It is definitely in the instrument cluster. I have probably right now the cluster on the bench on after the repairs for maybe 35 minutes, and it has not happened one time. Again, I always recommend to please record a short video if they want to do it. In this case, that would be Chris's sole decision in the shop. That's their customer, and they are my customers, obviously. All right, so what one thing that I didn't show at first, let me just get up here, is how do I connect to the instrument cluster since I don't have the entire vehicle, right? So in start to go into auto scan, I click in the Phoenix into scan European, look for Land Rover. I open that. That will be the same thing if you're using hotel. If you're using a Snap-on, then you will select European only, and then I go into manually select. I select the Discovery 3, normal aspirated B6. That works for what I'm doing. I will try to read the bean, although it's definitely not going to get it from just the instrument cluster, but it doesn't matter. What we're looking for is to connect and be able to perform the bidirectional tests, which is the sweep test and everything. Right now, everything is looking good as far as position of the needles. Everything is perfectly um, where it was, but I want to show that on the video. So I'm going to, sorry, let me go back. You select the IPC. In here, you got what they call topology. So this is kind of like where they are or how they are in the vehicle. You also have sub menus on top down. This is the same if you're using a launch or Think Car or Think Pro scanners. You can have the system topology, system list. Again, these are, you can touch the top. You have also special functions and some other things in here. But yeah, if you want to use as a list, and you now know what the IPC means, instrument cluster module. So you can enter here. It will do exactly the same thing. All right, so in here I go into actuation tests, it tells you that you have to select, and then plus or minus will, you do the plus or minus again 10, 15, 20%, and then click the start to for the actuation to be performed. All right, so let's go over to again the tachometer. We're going to go over to the 51% as we saw before, right there, 51, and then we click the start. All right, so that's pretty good compared to where we were before. And I know because I did already the calibration off outside the video, so I don't take all the time, but I want to show this so Chris and the shop can see it. All right, so next one is going to be the speedometer. I'm going into 50%, same thing, and then click the start, and that looks pretty good. All right, so we are in the 50%, and then we're going to go over to the engine temperature, again, 50%. I always go 50%, so that's like the middle of the gauge. If it's off, that's my easiest to catch, right? So that's pretty good right there. All right, so let's go over to the fuel gauge. We're going to go into, all I'm doing is just clicking on the plus or minus in here to reach the 50%, again, the percentage, right? And then click the start, and let's wait for that gauge to be right in the middle. That is perfect. All right, and one thing that I do always myself is I take pictures and compare it to how they were, because sometimes, especially on this temperature gauge, since it has the overheating range, the middle is not exactly as in the fuel. So that's why I think that you have to be always try to take pictures of before and gather for I got like I said over 20 repairs, and I compared to one another, make sure that we are in the same position for calibration, and we are. So this is exactly how it's supposed to be. All right, so this cluster is ready to go. Again, very good customer, excellent service they try to do for their customers as well. So another successful repair. I'm going to send this their way, and then I will probably update just in the comments on this video with their probably their input if Chris wants to put a comment in there, and otherwise I will update again 2 3 weeks. So make sure everything is good. Again, this is the mileage of the vehicle, 187 to 81, all good to go. This is Accurate Automotive here in Virginia. Chris, thank you so much, and happy holidays for everybody. Hope that you are sharing as much as time you can with your family, and happy new year. See you next time. Bye bye.